How's it going, YouTube? This is Wake Run Collapse, and I'm going to be completely honest with you up front. For a lot of you, this is going to be a skippable video. A lot of you will be interested, but a lot of you can save your time right now by just clicking away. Thanks for the view, I do appreciate it. This is going to be a BCBM and sort of sale video for a lot of E-Series cards. E-Series 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all in Japanese, and they're all commons and uncommons. So if that does not interest you, then feel free to click away now. I figured I would just save you the time. However, if you're still here, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I purchased this bulk lot from the TheSMGQuest. I am missing a couple of cards from E-Series 2, and that's where the bad part of this video comes in. I've got cards from E-Series 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but only a handful of the cards that you see here were from E-Series 2, and I didn't have inside any of the uncommon cards that I needed. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But that's not the only reason why I purchased this. I also bought it so that I could upgrade conditions on some of the cards that are maybe not as good looking in my collection, and also so that I could provide some cheaper E-Series cards to you guys. So I'm going to very quickly run through what I have from E-Series 2. The vast majority of these cards are excellent condition or better, which is really awesome. Most of them are near mint, but some of them have been bounced around in the way that they came in. Oh, I should actually show you guys that too. He sent them in English tins, which is so cool, and I don't have a use for them aside from storage, but I thought it was awesome because I've never owned an English tin before, but I thought they were nice. So I'm going to keep them to store stuff. I'm going to spend this, what I'm sure going to end up being a lengthy video, just going through the cards fairly quickly, so you can get an idea of what kind of artwork is in the E-Series. Also, for anybody who happens to be interested in these cards, what I'm going to be doing is selling them at a rate of 25 cents a piece for commons or uncommons. If you purchase a larger amount, I will definitely offer you a discount. I don't exactly know what that discount will be, and obviously I'll have to charge for shipping, which is where a lot of the cost is going to come into play. But since I'm updating condition for some of my cards, I wanted to be able to supply some to you guys. I did not spend a whole lot for this auction, given that they're E-Series cards. And by the way, this is E-Series 1 right now that we're going through. A lot of this is E-Series 1. I did not spend a whole lot on them. So if you see a card that you want, make sure to make a note for yourself of the timestamp of the card, because that's going to make it a lot easier. There are some that have multiple artworks in the same set. So make sure you're specific if you happen to want anything. I mean, or if you happen to just want one of every card from a particular set, I'd be more than happy to supply that for you. So I think this manner of going through them is probably going to save a significant amount of time, which is cool. Plus, even if you're not interested in buying stuff, which I'm sure the majority of you are not, you get a look at this really cool Japanese artwork from a set that you really don't get the opportunity to see anymore. I mean, they don't make cards this way anymore. We've got the yellow border, which has been extinct for a long time in Japanese cards. And it's just the inventiveness of the artwork. It was a simpler time back then, a different time. This is all E-Series 1 commons and uncommons, by the way, which is just crazy. One of those auctions that would have saved me a lot of trouble and time and money had it been available to me like a year or two ago before I really started collecting. This would have been a magnificent way to start off my collection for these sets. You're going to notice something funky in E-Series 1, that the commons, which we already saw, are actually separated in the set from the uncommons, which you're looking at right now, which is really crazy. And then they had non-holo rares, and then they had holos, and I mean, here are the trainer cards. They're in the middle of the set. The last numbered trainer that you're going to see is number 64 out of 128. because E-Series 1 also had 32 non-holo rares, and all of those cards had equivalent holos, and that was the second half of the set. Which I just think is really wild. So that's all E-Series 1, and you've already seen E-Series 2, which was the town on no map. So now we're going to have a look at E-Series 3, Wind from the Sea. I have a large multitude of a lot of these cards, so you'll forgive me if I'm going through them quickly. If I'm going too fast for you to be able to tell how many of a particular card exist in this pile or what have you, then make sure to be, let me know which one you want. By telling me something descriptive about the card, or by looking it up on PokeBeach and telling me the number, or just saying the first one, something like that. It always goes a long way if you happen to be interested in a larger amount of cards. It's just helpful in the long run. See what I'm talking about the different artworks for the Slowpokes? But yeah, I feel like I kind of fell into this really nice lot of cards. Even though I don't have a use for the majority of them. Just because how often do you get the opportunity to have E-Series cards and in this kind of condition too? It's pretty rare. Come on, focus on the Primate. There we go. It's just artwork that you don't get the chance to come across in the newer sets. I mean, I'm sure you've seen plenty of examples and you have your own preferences out of what you've seen already. Like, look at this Kangaskhan. It's so cool. That's such a nice pose. Could pick a dozen cards out of every set that really just make you stop and look at it and be like, wow, they really made a card that looked like this. And if you're an English collector and you collected Aquapolis and Skyridge and things like that, what was E-Series 1? Was it Expedition in English? Then you know what's happening here, but maybe you've not seen them in Japanese before. Even the energy cards. Look at the energy cards. They just look really cool. So that's E-Series 3. The majority of what is left is E-Series 4, Split Earth. And for equivalence's sake, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that I recently saw a box of Split Earth sell on eBay for over $500, sealed. That's how difficult it is to come across these cards in, fantastic condition. And of course, I can't purchase a large lot of E-Series holos and non-holo rares and things like that, just because there's not a huge contingency of people who are interested in it because of how expensive it is. It's something I would love to go and do. I would love to open a booster box of each of the E-Series sets, because I've never done that on my channel before, just like I'd love to do it with 3rd Gen. But it's just not something that's feasible, so when I get an opportunity like this, how do you pass it up? Look at that. Look at that Staryu action going on there. Really cool looking Amistar there. You can definitely see how the artwork changed even over the course of just the E-Series sets. Yeah, there's a Kadabra card. Back when they could make those. Mr. Revis. I have a crap load of giraffe rigs. I do remember this. Oh boy. I wasn't quite ready for just how many cards would be in this lot when I purchased it. I figured it was probably going to be, you know, and I even saw them on camera, but I wasn't prepared for the sheer volume of cards in this kind of condition. So hopefully this ends up being helpful for anybody who just likes collecting random different Japanese cards for their collection, or someone who is actually entertaining the thought of completing these E-Series sets. I have completed E-Series 1, 3, 4, and 5, but it took a really long time to do so, and I didn't really have a resource like this at the time. I ended up talking to Jimmy over at the Card Collector UK to get a lot of stuff. I bought some stuff from Collector's Cash as well. Although their stock isn't always great on Japanese cards from this era. You can get lucky sometimes with certain sets, and you can find, you know, a significant portion of it, which is good. And I really did like that, but oftentimes they'll actually be out of a card, and they won't know it, and then they'll call you and be like, hey, we don't have this, and we don't have this, and we don't have this, but we have all this other stuff. So, I don't know, hopefully that's gotten better. I haven't purchased from them in a while. Even look at these trainer cards. I do not know the names of these trainers. I don't know what they do. I don't know anything about them. Except they're already in my collection, and now I have a bunch more. Wait, is this in order? Yeah, I, for whatever reason, put the Dark and Steel types at the end. I'm not sure why, but it's a cool looking Skarmory. Those are actually, in the sets, they are after the colorless ones, but before the trainer cards, so I'll have to fix that. And last but not least, E-Series 5 Mysterious Mountains. This is the set that has the Crystal Charizard, Crobat, and Celebi inside. Which you better believe, if I ever get a reasonable opportunity to open a booster box from this particular set, I'm gonna jump all over it. But that's never gonna happen. I'm never gonna see one for under 500 bucks. It's just, they're too rare, they're too expensive, they're too sought after by real collectors. Such a happy Sunflora. And I believe a crystal might be 1 in every 2 boxes from Japanese E-Series or something like that. 1 in every 1 to 2 boxes. Awesome looking Lapras. There's so many great choices in E-Series 5. This is one of my favorite overall sets. And guys, you're not even looking at holographic cards here. You're just regular commons and uncommons. So I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have, you know, hit me with a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And of course, contact me if you're interested in any of the cards you see here. I am going to institute a $2 minimum purchase because it's just reasonable. And of course, I'm going to charge shipping. But if you're buying a small amount of cards, they're just going to be 25 cents a piece. And if you're buying a large amount of cards, then I'm going to be able to discount some stuff down for you just because I didn't pay that much for these in the first place. It just took them some time to sort through everything. Just make sure to be specific, especially when you have the trainers. If you have to look up the names on Bulbapedia, or you have to tell me exactly what the card looks like, clarity is always useful. So if you did stick around to watch it, I thank you for that. I really do. I appreciate it. And I don't even know when this is going to be uploaded, but I hope to have some more sale videos coming soon with some EXs, some old school EXs. I'm still waiting to finish up that full art sale video, so once that's completed, I'm going to post that as well. And I don't know. Have a great day, guys.